Environmentally unsound, unregulated coal mining practices of the past have left our region with a legacy of polluted waters, scarred landscapes, and health and safety hazards. The decrease in productive, valuable land has in turn impacted our regional economy. However, the region's inherent wild beauty offers many recreational opportunities. Rail trail organizations have identified this potential and have been remarkably successful in converting abandoned mine lands, including rail lines, into recreational havens. One particular organization, the Allegheny Valley Land Trust, has converted over 90 miles of rail line into trails. They recently purchased 269 acres of abandoned mine lands that contains 48 miles of rail trail and multiple mining relics, which are historically significant treasures.
We purchased inactive railroad lines, and we preserve them for the future by using them for a trail.
Among the relics is a tunnel built in 1915.
Now cook my supper, let me go to bed. Been drinking white light and it's gone.
As you go through it, and when you're right in the middle, why you can't see either end, that it is completely dark.
Lord, it walk like my baby.
But when you come out of the northern portal of the tunnel, you're actually going in a northeasterly direction.
Gotcha.
So that's how much you're turning. But you can see how much building the tunnel it took off for the railroad going around it.
The property also contains rail line bridges, a turntable, and coke ovens used in the 1800s.
I've seen some pictures of people finding artifacts around the mouth of Red Bank Creek, almost like a big coin that people are finding, and once in a while they'll find like part of an old shoe, and there's some foundations there. And as we clear that, people are going more and more with metal detectors and are finding different things. And the turntable was used to turn the locomotives around, to spin them 180 degrees so that the cow catcher was in the front, and they would come to this point, load on, and they would simply just swing right around so that the cow catcher was now going forward instead of backwards. The coke ovens were used to change coal into coke. It's a unique area in that you had ore, iron ore, limestone, and coal all in the same area.
Perhaps the most significant relic is the coaling tower, one of the last remaining of its kind.
Very nice structure, isn't it? That a beautiful structure.
Yeah. And the coaling tower is very similar to a water tower, that while they were putting water back in the tanks for steam, while you're also putting coal back into what was its fuel tank, which was a large coal car. And there may be only one or two coaling towers left in Pennsylvania. We're not sure when it was built, but it's probably at least 100 years old. And if we were to preserve it for the future, we not only have to look at how to make it safe now, but how do we get funding and ensure that there's some kind of funding there for maintenance for now and forever.
You can see how they built the frames, the wooden frames to pour the concrete. So they had to first pour, that there does look like there was a seam right here, but they did do a pretty large pour, and that first pour came up to here, and then they had another frame that was much more vertical, and you can see where some of this concrete actually came down over top of this first one. But what's interesting is how distinct you can see the grain of the wood. So that was probably brand new wood that they used right there.
Yeah.
And then as they reused it, why the grain
you
doesn't
can see
show
the
up.
boards.
Yeah.
When you know, the boards that they use to do the framing.
Away out on that old I-5.
We always have problems with graffiti and people could be doing damage to it. But one of the things that we're finding out is we build a trail, the more people that we get on the trail, the less abuse that we have and the less graffiti we have, less garbage we have on there. So we would like to move on and see what we can do to not only preserve it, but to also have educational signs that are explaining exactly what the coaling tower did. The railroad corridor that goes up along here, it's part of the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail, of which about 60% of the trails are already built. It's just a matter of connecting the trails. Not only is it going to bring in people from outside the area to use our businesses and restaurants, but it's something that people can use on a daily basis for exercise, for family outings, to get out into nature and really see what the area has to offer. Even though right now much of it is only accessible by walking or biking, much of it is located within a half a mile or so of parking areas. We don't have a how to take care of this book that we have to figure out on our own. Not only what are we going to do to upgrade it to understand it, but what means of sustainability do we have to maintain once we do fix it up. Manpower to take care of this is always a problem. The people that have to perform by court order to do community service, we actually organize them and they help us with vegetation controls. They pick up litter, garbage, and other things like that. These people being exposed to it and doing work on the area, that they feel that they're a part owner of this because they've worked on it. A lot of the challenges that we have with the relics are that they are 50 to 100 to 150 years old. The more people see it, not only the more funding we may have help, and the more we find out how were they made, what exactly did they do. But as more and more people around it, we realize that there's less abuse from other people.
Whipcammer video diaries are produced by the Western Pennsylvania Coalition for Abandoned Mine Reclamation. Check us out on the web at whipcammer.org.
It was a junction, so there was a little village there that had a restaurant and some different things, but people lived where they worked because it was either walking or by horse, and if you were inside a coal mine, why someone may have been stealing your horse while you weren't inside.